The June 25th, 2024 Liquor Board hearing is now in session. I'd like to start by reading a few things. All the hearings of the board are now transcribed and stored electronically. Those transcripts serving as minutes for the hearing are accessible for review by scheduling an appointment with the Liquor Board office. I now make a motion that the transcripts from the previous board hearing on April 9th, 2024 be accepted by the board and its minutes for that date, and I ask for a second.
I second the motion.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Duffy. I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Done. I'd also like to read a statement which pertains to the commissioners. Before we begin our hearing tonight, just a brief note regarding the conflicts of interest. All of the commissioners up here are part-time public servants, and we all have outside interest. When we know that we have a conflict of interest or the appearance of a conflict of interest, we will recuse ourselves. However, we cannot possibly know who is going to appear at any given time from the public, or if we have any involvement with them or they with us. So with that being said, if anybody does feel they have a conflict, you bring it to our attention and we'll make a ruling as to whether or not to recuse ourselves. If for any reason you think there's going to be a conflict, please speak up. That's important. Okay. Originally, the second case tonight was Duffy's. It was a notice to appear. That has been postponed. So if there's anybody here in reference to Duffy's 3, that case is postponed until January 9th, and you're excused. Okay, with that, I'm going to ask our Chief Inspector, Chief Jim Ford, to call the first case.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our first case is Dave & Buster's Grand Sports Cafe. Thank you, Ms. Schreckengast. Anyone wishing to testify for or against, please come forward, remain standing, and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. And Inspector Faulkner, if we could start with your name and address, please, for the record.
Franklin Faulkner.
And
2011 D Commerce Drive, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401.
thank you. Sir?
Michael P. Darrow, D-A-R-R-O-W, 1084 Mount Airy Road, Davidsonville, Maryland, 21035.
Thank you.
Scott Rossick, R-O-S-U-C-K, 7149 Baxtershire Drive, Dallas, Texas, 75230.
Thank you.
Brian McCrory, M-C-C-R-O-R-Y, 833 North Lake Drive, Richardson, Texas, 75080.
Thank you.
Good evening, Leanne Schreckengast with Royston Muller, McLean, and Reed here on behalf of Dave & Buster's.
Thank you, everybody. Mr. Chairman?
Okay, thank you, Chief. I'm going to start by asking the inspector to read his report, and then we'll proceed after that. Inspector Faulkner, would you please proceed?
Yes, on February the 15th of 2024, I visited Dave & Buster's to deliver the outside service form for the reset. Upon talking to James Lang, the outside service was going to be addressed by corporate. And I noticed while talking with James that there was a lot of plastic up where they were doing some remodeling. And I informed him that anytime you did remodeling or changing the establishment, they had to notify the liquor board. And then took some pictures And then Chief Inspector Jim Ford instructed me to go back on February the 17th, 2024, to write a citation for alterations. And that'll be it.
Okay, thank you, Inspector. Mrs. Schreckengost, do you have any questions for the inspector?
I have no questions for the inspector.
Okay, very good, thank you. I think this is the opportunity that we're going to ask you to respond on behalf of the licensees. And by the way, gentlemen, I know two of you has traveled a pretty good distance to get here, and we do appreciate you coming. And you understand that it is required that all licensee, and I believe one's local, so it wasn't so bad. But thank you, I appreciate you coming. Would you like to go ahead and proceed proper, or how would you like to proceed?
I would like to proceed by way of proper.
Okay.
Thank you
please.
very much, Mr. Chair. As indicated, we do admit to the violation of not notifying the board before beginning renovations remodel. It was a complete oversight on behalf of the Dave & Buster's development team. We got the proper county permits, just didn't realize that they needed to notify the liquor board. And thankfully, the inspector came in at an opportune time, we immediately, within 2 days of being cited, were in contact with Chief Inspector Ford and Inspector Faulkner with the plans that were going on. And then I followed that up with a formal notification to the board's office on February 21st with copies of the plans, the permitting, the landlord approval letter, and all the slideshow of everything that was going on. So unfortunately, it was an oversight on our part. Sincerely apologize for it. Dave & Buster's has been a wonderful corporate citizen in this county for over 20 years. So the board takes that into consideration.
Okay, thank you. Do the commissioners have any questions that they'd like to present to the licensees or Mrs. Schreckengost?
I have no question.
Okay.
I have no questions.
Okay. We do understand that this is not a common occurrence. I'm sure they haven't had a renovation to amount to anything in quite a while. So therefore, when you do something like this, if it's not on your radar, we could see where it could possibly slip by. It is very important, though, that you do contact the liquor board. It's in the rules and regulations, and it's a requirement for your license that if you make any changes, structural changes, or even anything of any major consequences, electrical, plumbing, not necessarily carpet or wallpaper or paint, but anything else that you do notify and get permission. And it's rarely denied, with cause. I don't have any questions except for the fact that I'm curious, where do you stand today with the progress for the renovations that have been?
Yeah, do I punch a button here?
Yes, please. There you go.
Brian McCrory. Yes, we're close to finished at this point. We actually stopped by to see how far the renovations were along. So most of them are done. There's just a few things that are kind of being cleaned up. And then there's one area where we've got a couple of new interactive game areas near the front that are being done. But the bar, the dining room, and most of the main areas are completed. We can ask our general managers here in the audience if you'd like more details too. So,
Sir, I don't believe you've been sworn in, but if you could raise your right hand, Chief, I swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you very much.
Please step forward.
Also,
yeah.
if you could, Mr. Lang, state your name and address for the record.
James Lang, 1307 Washington Drive, Annapolis, Maryland, 21403.
Okay, well, thank you for stepping up. I think not just myself, but the commissioners are interested in what the status is today. We have quite a few photographs that have been supplied to us, which really show us a lot of the work that has taken place there. We are familiar with the fact that you had all the permits required, which is great because it would have been a whole lot more difficult had you not done that. but we did. But what is the status? When do you find yourself being 100% complete? And I think the next important question that you can try to answer for me is, do you have any of your final inspections, meaning the last inspections?
Okay. So food and beverage service is all complete, any area that was touching that. The only thing we are waiting on is our immersive room is one last space that we're working on. That's being delivered the end of this month, going to be finished by the end of July, and we can't get the final inspection until that's completed because of the electric that's being ran and those sort of things. So we do a grand reopening on July 10th for the other sides of it, and then that room should be complete by the end of July. Okay,
very good. That's a big help. Do the commissioners have any questions for the general manager?
I have no questions.
Okay. What I would like to do before I make a motion is I'd like to ask you to please be attentive in the fact that we'd like to be informed with these last final couple steps. So when you get your final inspections, let us know. Chief Ford may want to come out or send his inspector out just to make sure that, everything appears to be completed as the way it is. Okay?
Absolutely.
All right, very good. All right, with that being said, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a motion because you were guilty of not notifying the liquor board, and I don't believe that's a question here. It's just an oversight, I believe you're saying. I'm going to go ahead and make a motion that you pay a fine of $300. And that fine will be paid to the liquor board. You'll be notified by our administration by letter for that. There'll be no effects on your license. But I do want to also make part of that motion a notice that you have been duly warned, and hopefully in the future, this won't occur again. All right, with that, that's a motion. I'm looking for a second.
I second the motion.
Okay, Commissioner Duffy, I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, point of clarification, are you combining the counts, or is that because there are two counts here?
I'm going to combine the counts, so it'll be a total of $300. We'll go ahead and make it $150 each, just for record-keeping purposes. But yeah, so a total of $300. Okay? You're excused. Thank you very much for coming in. Enjoy your trip back.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, our next case is Nonna Angela's Italian Bistro, TIB of Crofton, Inc., Gennaro Di Benedetto, Secretary Treasurer, Delia Deros Herrera, President, Inspector Scott Montaigne. This is for an upgrade to entertainment restricted to multiple TVs only and to remove live music restriction. Nonna Angela's is located at 2225A Defense Highway, Crofton, Maryland, 21114. It's a Class H beer, wine, liquor, music, and Sunday license with outdoor dining. There is a restriction as of 5/12/1988. No live music or entertainment and alcoholic beverages must be served in and alcoholic beverages must be served in conjunction with meals. Anybody wishing to testify for or against? Thank you for approaching. If you could remain standing, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. And if you could, for the record, state your name and address for the record.
Claudia Ramirez, 409 Willow Bend Drive, Glen Burnie, 21060.
Xiomara Deras, 27, 24, Trombrook, Ellicott City, 21042.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Thank you both for coming and appearing. This is a request for a transfer. Nonna Angela's is upgrading to add a restriction of entertainment license to allow multiple TVs only. That's my own understanding. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. what I'll do is give you an opportunity, if you would, to try to explain why you want to do that, and also explain anything else as far as the transfer that you'd like to let the board know. Okay, Ms. Herrera, I believe?
Claudia Ramirez, I'm the general manager. If I'm allowed, I would like to speak on behalf of Delia Deras, since she doesn't speak like really well English, so I want to speak on behalf of her.
Okay. You're on the license?
No, I'm not.
You're not
I'm
on the
GM.
license?
I'm the GM.
Okay. And I understand Mr. Benedetta has been excused, is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
So that leaves you, I believe, Ms. Herrera, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you're giving your manager permission to speak on your behalf?
Yes.
Okay, well then you feel free. Thank you.
All right. Since Nona Angela's opened on 2017, we have been hosting live music in our restaurant. What's unique about our situation is that we have had the same two musicians providing the music since we opened. We were unfortunately unaware that we were not allowed to be hosting live entertainment. Upon receiving information from our liquor board representative, we immediately ceased all live entertainment. Sadly, this put our two musicians who are very much part of our family, Nona Angela's family, out of weekly job. We are here today to ask for permission to reinstate our weekly live entertainment. The music brings a lot of customers who enjoy the Nona Angela's atmosphere with a little extra entertainment. Nona Angela's is a community restaurant with many customers that come in weekly. We have here these many customers express their disappointment in the loss of the live entertainment. This has affected the income of our business, and we look forward to resolving this issue and hopefully upgrading our license to allow live music.
Okay, thank you. So right now you have a restriction on your license that reads no live music or entertainment, and that alcohol beverages must be served in conjunction with a meal.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
And you've been abiding by that restriction, I'm sure. What you're asking for is to upgrade your entertainment license to include multiple TVs, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And which would include music, which would allow you 2 instruments. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
So you understand that if the board agrees to do that, you could not have more than 2 instruments at any given time. And that would include, if you have someone that's, going to sing, that counts as one of the 2. So please keep that in mind. Okay? And the multiple TVs, how many TVs do you plan on putting in there?
Just 2.
How many?
2.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to ask the commissioners if they have any questions besides the ones that I've asked. Commissioner Duffy?
No questions.
I have no questions.
Okay. I do have a question for you, Mrs. Herrera. Do you have any financial interest in any other establishment that has a liquor license?
Can I translate it to her?
Does she have ownership or any portion of ownership to any other liquor establishment in this state other than the one that she's on now?
Sé que si usted tiene alguna partnership como otra parte de sociedad en alguna licencia de licor en el estado de Maryland.
No.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioner, where was I? Oh, Snoops, do you have any questions?
No questions.
I'm sorry. Okay, well, with that being said, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a motion. I'm going to make a motion that we grant the entertainment license with the restriction that that's only for those TVs, meaning anything else that would normally go with entertainment is not included, just the multiple TVs. But that does give you and entitles you under the music, which is the lesser of the entertainment ranges, to have up to 2 musicians. And this is going to be put on as a restriction on the license, very similar to what it is now, and will also include that restriction that you already have on there that restricts all consumption of alcohol to be in conjunction with a meal. Do we understand that? And does Mrs. Herrera understand it?
Dice que si usted entiende que tienen que consumir comida en lo que están tomando. Que si usted entiende eso. Diga sí.
Yes.
Okay, all right, so it's my understanding, you do understand that, and I got your answer to the interest, financial interest. You're speaking also for Mr. Gennaro Diambetta, correct? He's not here, so I would assume you're going to speak on his behalf as well. Okay, that's the form of a motion. So we're going to go ahead and make a motion. I'll repeat it very quickly to allow entertainment, but only relevant to the multiple TVs. And it's my understanding that that's going to be 2, which would allow you music, which would allow you no more than 2 musical instruments at any given time, and alcohol served in conjunction with food. Let me also reiterate that that can be taken away from you at any time if you were to fail to follow those rules and regulations. All right, I'm looking for a second.
I second the motion.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Duffy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, you have that. Please be careful. All right?
Well, I promise.
Thank you very
Have a
much.
good day. You're excused.
Our next case is for Betty Luz. Mr. Wall, would you like to waive the reading? Yes. Thank you very much. Anyone wishing to testify for or against, please come forward. Remain standing and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you very much. You may be seated. And if you could, starting at my left, if you could state your name and address for the record, please.
Okay. Betty Harvey, 243 Hammerley Road, but my official one is 245 Hammerley Road, Glen Burnie, Maryland, 21060.
Thank you.
Meredith Harvey, 245 Hammerley Road, Glen Burnie, Maryland, 21060.
Thank you very much.
Jonathan Wall, 1910 Town Center Boulevard, Annapolis, Maryland, 21408.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman?
Okay, thank you. This is a request for a transfer for Betty Luz at 33 Magothy Beach Road. No?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry. You okay? Mm-hmm. All right, okay. So what I'd like to do, Mr. Wall, if you would, I'm going to allow you to proceed either with a proffer or...
I'll proceed with the proffer. Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
please do.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I represent Betty Luz LLC and the applicants Betty Harvey and Meredith Harvey, both my right. Betty is a successful entrepreneur and Meredith is a talented chef. Earlier this year, Betty and Meredith purchased the Mutiny Pirate Bar, which has led us to this hearing this evening for the transfer of their liquor license. Betty Luz will be an upscale casual restaurant. Its offerings lean Southern casual and feature New Orleans style and other Cajun specialties. I have provided you with a copy of their menu in our supplemental materials. My clients are the sole owners of and investors in Betty Lou's. Both will be directly involved in the restaurant. They're both longtime residents of Anne Arundel County. They have reviewed and signed the application submitted to the board, verifying, among other things, that they have not been convicted of felonies, do not have a history of violations of laws involving the sale of alcoholic beverages and gambling. They've reviewed and are familiar with the regulations, rules and regulations of the board, and agree to conform to them. I note that my clients are currently staffing up the restaurant. They expect to open it in the next 60 days, and they will ensure that their servers and managers have tip certification before the restaurant opens. Of course, I have included Betty and Meredith's tip certification in our supplemental materials as well. I note that the restaurant does have an outdoor dining area. My clients understand their obligation with regard to that space, and to ensure that it's monitored at all times by tips trained staff to ensure that alcoholic beverages are served in compliance with the law. With regard to the conditions precedent to the board's approval of the liquor license, I note that we've provided a supplement containing an affidavit with regard to the posting of a hearing notice for tonight's hearing, and that both my clients have been fingerprinted at this point. With the board's permission, I'll just turn to my clients and ask them to verify that my proffer is correct. Betty, Meredith, is the application that I've submitted to the board on your behalf true and accurate?
Yes.
Are all the documents that I've submitted to the board on your behalf true and accurate and complete copies of what they purport to be?
Yes.
Good. Has my proffer of your testimony to the board been accurate and complete?
Yes.
Do you understand that you're responsible for liquor license violations under any license granted or transferred?
Yes.
Have you received and reviewed the board's rules and regulations pertaining to the service of alcoholic beverages?
Yes.
And will you at all times have a person on the floor of the restaurant who's completed training in a state-approved alcoholic awareness program?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, we submit that the application as well as the supplemental materials that we provided reflect that the applicants are responsible operators who are knowledgeable about the board's rules and regulations. I note that Meredith has been involved in the restaurant business for some time and is familiar with those, as well as Betty. And that they're both fit to hold the alcoholic beverage license presently in the name of the Mutiny Pirate Bar. We respectfully request that the board approve the transfer, and of course we're happy to answer any questions that the board may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wong. Let me start off with the same question that I asked the previous licensee. Do either of you have any connection with any other establishment that sells alcohol as far as a financial connection anywhere in the state of Maryland?
No.
None of us, neither of us, okay. Thank you. The request is for your license includes dancing, I believe,
Yes.
as well as outdoor service. I guess my question is, do you have enough space for dancing to take place? Or how are you planning on dealing with the dancing if you do?
We do have enough space for dancing to take place. I don't really foresee us doing a lot of dancing there. If need be, there's plenty of space for it, though.
Okay, now I was looking at your plans and it doesn't really indicate, or does it, that dance area?
But all the tables in the middle are removable.
Okay. You plan on having musicians, I'm assuming, if you're going to have dancing? Or what kind of entertainment are you considering?
It would be more than likely acoustic sets of just, somebody playing guitar for ambiance. I don't foresee this to be a place people go to. I want it to be a nice restaurant.
Okay. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the other two commissioners if they have any questions for you. I may have another question at the end of that. So I'll start with Commissioner Duffy. Do you have any questions, Commissioner?
Yes, have you obtained all the permit for outside dancing? Outside dining?
Have I obtained a what? I'm sorry?
All the required permit for dining outside dining?
I'm still waiting on all of my permits to come through.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
No.
Thank you. Commissioner Snoops?
I have no questions.
Okay. I'm going to just revisit that briefly. I see you did apply for outdoor service, and the administration will process that in due time. Mr. Walls, do you have anything that you want to add? I'm sorry.
It's current.
It is current? Okay, very good. Thank you. So you do currently have outdoor service as part of that license. I just like to, especially with the dancing, add a little warning to that. And that is when we have places that have dancing, if you're only going to have one or two musicians, it's normally not a problem. But you do want to step and be very careful with the amount of music and the acoustics and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and make a motion that we do allow this. I'm going to put that in the form of a motion. Looking for a second.
I second the motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Snoops. I have a second, so with that, I'm going to ask for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Mr. Wall, you and your clients are excused. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Lots of luck to you.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Our next case is Lido Pizza, Severna Park. This is MTM Development Number 2 LLC, Martin T. Gorman, Managing Member, Inspector Megan Johnson. It's a Class H beer, wine, liquor, dancing, and Sunday license with outdoor dining. This is for transfer of location. Currently located at 552 East Ritchie Highway, Severna Park, Maryland, 21146. The new location would be at 342 Ritchie Highway, Unit B and C, Severna Park, Maryland, 21146, and would be for Class H multiple beer, wine, liquor, entertainment, restricted to multiple TVs only, and Sunday license. Currently restricted as of 5/1/2016, 1. Entertainment license for multiple TV privilege only. As of January 12th, 2000, missing a date there, which we can correct the record later. Alcoholic beverages must be served only with a meal. All licensees and full-time employees must be certified in an alcohol awareness program. An alcohol awareness certified employee over 21 must be present at the establishment at all times. Anyone wishing to testify for or against has approached the table. Thank you very much. If you could raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you very much. You can be seated, and if you could state your name and address for the record.
Yeah, Martin Gorman, Gorman, 614 Burton's Cove Way, Annapolis, 21401.
Thank you, Mr. Gorman. Mr. Chairman?
Thank you, Chief. Mr. Gorman, welcome. I see you have a large crowd with you.
I've been a license holder and restaurateur in this county for 26 years, so I've done
Trust
this
me,
once or
I
twice.
know. I'm going to try to make this quick and easy and as painless as I can. I think the last time you had a violation was in 1999.
Yep.
So it's expunged as far as I'm concerned. You've done a wonderful job, I believe, from what our inspectors and our reports and database shows. I'm going to just ask you why you want to move, and you don't need to go into all the details, but just generality.
The big was financial. We couldn't come to a lease deal with the owners of Park Plaza. 3 months of negotiation, and I had to go build a new location. It just wasn't cost feasible to stay there.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any other interest in any other establishment that sells alcohol in the state of Maryland?
Yes.
And which ones would they be?
I have Lido Pizza Millersville and Lido Pizza Canalen.
Okay, very good. Thank you. I don't have any further questions. Commissioner Duffy, do you have any questions?
No question.
Commissioner Snoops?
No questions.
Okay. Like I said, quick and painless. With that, I'm going to make a motion that we do grant this license transfer of locations, but you do understand that anything that is on your license at the present location also transfers to the new location. Any restrictions or anything else?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good.
We just do TVs. That's the only entertainment we have.
Okay, very good.
Right.
All right. With that, I'm going to make a motion that we go ahead and grant the transfer. Looking for a second.
I may second the motion.
Okay, with that being done, looking for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next case is Angel Share Wine and Spirits. Mr. Pickett, would you like to waive the reading? Thank you very much. Anybody wishing to testify for or against, please come forward. Remain standing, please. And if you could remain standing for me and raise your right hands. Thank you. Do you solemnly swear and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes. Thank you very much. You may be seated. And if you could, starting from my left, state your name and address for the record, please.
Patricia Baldwin, 807 Homestead Lane, Crownsville, Maryland, 21032.
Samuel Cheney, 2701 Middle Neck Road, Odenton, Maryland, 21113.
Evan Pickett, attorney on behalf of the applicants, 2410 Evergreen Road, Gambrills, Maryland, 21054.
Joseph Baldwin, 808 Homestead Lane, Crownsville, Maryland, 21032.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Chief, and welcome, everybody. I understand that this is a change of officers, but it's also a change of class of license. With that, I'm going to ask your attorney, Mr. Pickett, if you'd like to go ahead and proceed either proffer in any manner.
Yeah, I'd like to proceed via proffer.
Please do.
So as you stated, the application before you this evening is for a change of officer and a change of license type. The change of officer, the reason for the change of officer is Ms. Hall is no longer in the state and has sold her interest in the company. We supplied the amended and restated operating agreement reflecting the new ownership to the board. We are asking to add the Patricia M. Baldwin Revocable Trust and Samuel A. Cheney II. We submitted the trust documents to Mr. Praley, who approved the trust being a member or a holder of the license. So the resulting license holder would be Joseph Baldwin, Patricia M. Baldwin Revocable Trust, and Samuel A. Cheney II. To my left, Jay, he is a longtime owner of the shopping strip, as well as Tricia. Sam is a longtime general manager of the store, has extensive experience in the industry, many years. Is in regular contact with the board and with Chief Inspector Ford. So I think everyone is very familiar with Sam. So that is the change of officer piece. I guess I would ask you if you have any questions related to that portion of the application before I go on.
The change of class, I'm kind of curious as to what portion or proportion of the interior is going to be dedicated to the two classes, which would include, of course, any packaged goods versus others.
Sure, I'll move on to the change of license. So the current license is a Class A beer, wine, liquor, BWST with Sunday service, and we're requesting a change to a Class D beer, wine, and liquor with Sunday service. Regarding your question, I believe you have the floor plan in front of you. So
Yes, we do.
You can see to the left, There on the sales floor, that this left side is going to be the tasting area. It's a big open space on the left side. It is not stocked with shelves throughout the middle. It's a big clear open space, and in the back of the area is where the tasting bar will be, with some seats and some chairs for that tasting area. So the center to the right is where the packaged goods are going to be separated over there. If that answers your...
It does. It does. I just wanted to hear it as well as see it. Thank you. I think that answers my question as far as that goes. I'm going to ask the same question that I previously asked the other licensees to all three of you. Do any of the three of you have any interest in financial interest in any other licensed establishment, alcohol licensed establishments in the state of Maryland?
So I do. I have an ownership interest with Titan Hospitality that owns the Blackwall Hitches and the barn and restaurant, but it's just a small financial interest of less than 3% of any of them.
Okay, very good. And just so you know, there's no question about that, with the exception of declaring it. We'd like to know and make sure that we understand what connections you have to any other establishment. So thank you. I do have a question. Recently, you had a situation, I think it was in October of 23, in which you were involved in a compliance check and failed. And then I think the only thing prior to that was something back in 2019, in which you received a reprimand from the board at that time. Are you going to keep the same employees that you presently have, or are you changing? And what is your game plan as far as that goes?
Yes, sir. The current staff will stay. The employees that were involved in those infractions were terminated the day that it happened.
Right. Okay, very good. Are you using the same entrance and exits, means of ingress, egress, for both packaged goods as well as the other area?
Yes, the main entrance will be
Okay,
exactly
very
the
good.
same.
All right. I don't have any more questions at this point. Do we want to ask the other two commissioners, or did you have something else you wanted to?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy to explain the use, to give you a sense of what they're looking to do with it.
Okay, well, why don't you do that, unless Commissioner Duffy, you have a question at this point?
No, I have
or
no question.
Commissioner Snoops? Yeah, please do.
Sure. So if I could characterize the use of this tasting room, I would say that it is about exposure rather than consumption. With a typical tavern license where you're trying to sell as many drinks as possible, that is not the intent or the use of this space. It is really for tasting and experience. It's an amenity to the store. If you've been into Angel Share before, you will see that it is it's more of a craft store where you go in to find a special bottle. Nowadays, I think whiskey and tequilas, they're a lot like wine. It's not just your Jack Daniels and your Jose Cuervo anymore. And the way people experience wine is, you go to tastings. And that's what we're looking to do here, is to provide an experience. If you're looking for a bottle of whiskey, bottles of whiskey are very expensive, especially the unique and rare bottles that this store provides. You have the opportunity to try it before you buy it. You have the opportunity to try a few different things and figure out what your palate likes. That's really the goal of this tasting room. There's also a whiskey club that has been formed through the store. They go around to other places, and they're whiskey enthusiasts. There's 400 members. So in terms of desire for this, those members would love to have something like this where they can come and experience whiskey. So we're looking at right now doing half ounce to 1 ounce pours. So it's really, again, a tasting experience rather than a establishment where you would come and belly up to the bar and drink to the late hours of the night. That's not what we're looking to do here.
Okay, very good. Thank you, sir. I don't have any other questions for you. I'm going to ask the other two commissioners if they do, and then we'll proceed. Commissioner Duffy?
No.
No further questions?
No questions.
Commissioner Snoops?
No, I have no questions.
Okay, very good. Okay, very good. All right, it was brought to my attention so I could bring it to your attention that when it comes to the tasting, there's no free.
Sure, yeah.
You understand that?
Yes. Yes.
And that is important you understand that, because in this county it is a violation. And that goes for, your whiskey club events and the various things like that. Okay, with that understanding clarified, I'm going to go ahead and make a motion that we accept both the change of class and the change of officers in this case, and I'm looking for a second.
I second the motion.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Duffy. Commissioner Snoops, I'm going to ask for a vote that I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Lots of luck to you.
Thank you. Can I ask one question? And we just want to make sure with the expansion that this new floor plan is the accepted floor plan for the store, that it includes this new space and.
Yes,
Yeah.
we did.
Great. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you. Lots of luck to you. Please be very careful.
Congratulations. It was a long road, so thanks for hanging in there. Good luck.
Okay.
Next case. Thank you, Mrs. Carter.
Let's get you all out of here quickly.
Always appreciate that. Anybody willing to testify for or against, please do approach the table and remain standing and raise your right hand. Thank you. Do you solemnly swear and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. You may be seated. And if you could, sir, start with your name and address for the record.
My name is Conroy Chen. My address is 11017 Lunes Drive, Lower Potomac, 20878.
Thank you.
Shane Yang, 2675 Orchard Oriole Way, Oldington, Maryland, 21113.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board and staff. For the record, my name is Linda Carter, Carter Law LLC at 11720 Beltsville Drive, Suite 100, Beltsville, Maryland, 20705. It's a pleasure to be before you tonight. And Mr. Chairman, if I could, by way of proffer, my clients have appeared before you before, but only once. And that was in connection with an application for Crafty Crab at Arundel Mills that opened in 2021 during the middle of COVID. They have not been before you since, which is a very good thing. They're before you tonight with a new concept, Teapot Restaurant, and I think you all are familiar with this property. It's in Watchapel. It started life out as an Italian market, and it's gone through a couple imaginations through the past several years. And my clients, with a whole collection of other investors that have all been disclosed to the board through two separate entities, one which actually owns the real property for which they paid about $3.1 million, and the other, which is before you tonight, which owns the business. And they have put in about $1 million in renovations. If I could, and I apologize to the board, I know you all have the exhibits online, but I actually do have only 2 copies tonight. We're trying not to kill so many trees.
Saving paper.
Yeah, we're trying. I do have a third I can give you after I kind of go through it with the board, with the board's permission. The important things, obviously there is a floor plan in here. This is the same floor plan that was submitted to the board. There are no variations. It's been approved, and they are open and operating. They opened in February, and it has been their mode of operation, if you will. They spend so much time making sure the restaurant is right that I'm an afterthought. even though they come to me a year before they're ready to open and we want a liquor license, they're so busy making sure that everything is done properly and their employees are trained, that they always get these licenses after they're opened. This particular facility has 10,400 square feet. That's a big restaurant. And it does have a 2,000 square foot patio, which is on the plan. We are not using it yet. We would like permission to use it in the future, but they want to make sure that the restaurant is operating before they take it outside. The restaurant actually has two separate components. There is the sit-down portion of it, and then there's a much more informal, almost like a food court, if you will. Two separate doors. The food court portion of it does not have alcohol. If a customer is in that portion and wants a drink, they can order one and it will be brought to them. But they're not serving alcohol over there on a regular basis. It's really, the alcohol is really designed for the hot pot and the Korean barbecue. Everything is fresh, as you can tell from the pictures. If you haven't been to either a Korean hot pot or a Korean barbecue restaurant, you should try it out because it really is, it's amazing. Everything is fresh. And we were laughing because I'm a foodie, so I get really excited about this. You pick your protein, you pick your vegetables, they bring you a variety of sauces, a variety of sides, and they teach you how to do it. So you're not just left with the raw food. And they make sure that like the chicken and the pork are properly cooked so that people are not eating things that they shouldn't be eating. Lots of staff. The restaurant has 193 seats in the hot pot area, and there is a small bar with 15 seats. Food is available throughout. So you don't have to order hot pot or barbecue to be fed at the bar. You can order from a much more limited menu.
Mrs. Carter, may I interrupt you? I just want
course,
to let
please.
everybody know that there's a medical emergency occurring outside. One of the security guards, that's the ambulance, so I just want to make everybody aware there may be some noise, and he's being looked after.
Ooh.
Sorry.
No, God be with them. I apologize.
I do
Lost
as
my-
well. I didn't mean to
No,
break your train of
that's
thought. My
quite
apologies.
all right. No, I understand. Right now, the restaurant is serving approximately 650 people a week. They anticipate that once the license is granted, that'll increase to between 800 and 1,000 people a week. There's not a day that goes by that either a customer doesn't come in and turn around because they can't get a drink, or call and say, nope, we'll come back when you have a drink. Because the hot pot and the barbecue are just conducive to having a cocktail or having a beer. Alcohol is not going to be a big portion of the business. They anticipate total sales will be probably around 20%, given all the food that they're going to be selling. And it's a very family-oriented establishment. But that 20% will greatly increase the number of customers that come in on a daily and a weekly basis. Both my clients are alcohol awareness certified. All of their managers are certified. They know they need to file manager forms, and we will be doing that. Their bartenders, they're in the process of hiring bartenders. They will all obviously be of 21 years of age or older, and they will also all be alcohol awareness certified. Mr. Chairman and members of the board, I can continue talking or I can call it quits.
Thank you very much, Ms. Carter. I do have a few quick questions, I hope. What kind of entertainment do you plan on having?
Televisions and the cooking.
I'm sorry, television?
Televisions and the cooking.
Okay.
Yeah, no music, no live music, no entertainers. The entertainment is really for the televisions and the piped-in music.
So you wouldn't have a problem if we restricted the entertainment to multiple TVs only?
No problem.
Okay, very good. The outdoor service area is it's pretty good size. Very impressive layout you have there. Do you have, or are you planning on putting in cameras, or are you going to have an attendee out in the outdoor service area when the alcohol is served out there?
We don't have any plans right now, but we're definitely looking into like different things of what we can try.
Okay. The reason I say that is an unattended outdoor service area could lead to a problem. And we don't want you to fall into that problem.
Well, that's one of the reasons, Mr. Chairman, that they haven't opened it yet. They're really
No, I
focusing
understand.
on ironing out all the kinks, if you will, so that we don't have to come before you again.
Yeah. Okay, I'll take that. And the same question I've asked other people, do you have any financial interest in any other liquor license in the state of Maryland?
They are both licensees on Crafty Crab in Arundel Mills.
Both of them are.
Correct.
I understood one was.
Oh, no, I apologize. They both
No,
are.
that's okay. Just for clarity.
And that's
like
your
I said.
that's your only other, in
Yes.
Maryland, yeah. They have a place in Virginia, but this is
That's
it in
fine.
Maryland.
We're only interested. That's enough. The outdoor service for a restaurant, of course, under the county council's emergency bill is granted to almost everybody. It's when you take alcohol into that area that you need to have our permission. I'm a little reluctant because I don't hear a plan or don't know of anything that you plan on having in such a large area. What I may do is I'm going to make a motion, and it's going to pertain, to the entertainment, and that is that we grant the entertainment license with the restriction on it that it's for multiple TVs only. And I'm also going to put a restriction on the outdoor service area, which of course you have the right to serve food out there without our permission, so hopefully you understand that. But I'd really like to see a game plan or a plan in general as to what you are going to do before we grant the outdoor service area for the consumption of alcohol. And we're open to you presenting that to the board at a later date, so it could
Thank
be
you.
next week, next month, whatever. But because of the size of it and because of the fact that it's a new license, I'm going to just say that I'm going to make a motion that we do not grant the outdoor service until such time as you have a plan.
Thank you, sir.
So with that being,
Mr. Chairman, a point of clarification, would they be able to have that approved administratively, or would you like to have them come back before the board for that?
I think it needs to be approved by the board. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to appear for a hearing. If it's presented administratively, we may have to have it at a hearing for the Open Meetings Act and so forth, but
We'll
we could-
provide you something in sufficient detail that I think
Yeah,
will satisfy
exactly.
I know what you're looking for.
Okay,
We can
very
give you
good.
that.
All right, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and make a motion that we grant the new license with the restrictions in reference to the entertainment for multiple TVs only, and we do not grant the outdoor service at this time. All right, and that's a form of a motion. Looking for a second?
I second the motion.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Mr. Chairman, if I could have a special request, please, rather than denying it, could you postpone your decision on that? I think if it acts as a denial, we have to file an application and do the whole process. But if you just postpone the decision on that, then we can come back subsequently without having to go through the process again.
That's a good point. Yeah, I don't see any reason why, unless the commissioners know of any reason, I don't see any reason why
Thank
not.
It saves them $600.
Mr. Aronson, you understand? It's already been approved, so that's a good thing. Thank you. That's a
I appreciate
very
that.
good.
Thank you, Mr.
No,
Chairman.
it's a good suggestion, and I'm glad you came up with it. Okay, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I think I just did that, didn't I?
That's fine. Thank you
You
so
got it
much. We
twice.
greatly appreciate it.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank
Y'all
you.
have a great and safe evening.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Unless my fellow attorney takes your time, you'll make it by 7:30.
Well,
Y'all have a great one.
we don't want to go there. I'm already,
Okay, our final case of the
I'm already
evening
in trouble with.
is Urbano. Mr. Mark, would you like to waive the reading?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Please approach the table to testify for or against. Remain standing, please. And raise your right hands. Do you solemnly swear and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I did. Thank you very much, gentlemen. You may be seated, and if you could, sir, start with your name and address for the record.
Chad Sparrow, 3205 Alabama Avenue, Alexandria, Virginia, 22305.
Thank you.
Larry Walston, 3619 North Upland Street, Arlington, Virginia, 22207.
Thank you.
Eugene Mark, 4614 Roxbury Drive, Bethesda, Maryland, 20814.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chairman?
Okay, thank you, Chief. Mr. Mark, are you willing to or would want to proceed with the proffer?
Yes.
Then please do.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Chairman, fellow commissioners, here this evening representing Urbana Annapolis LLC. We have applied for a new license to be located at 1915 Town Center Boulevard, Suite 150, Annapolis, Maryland, for a Class H beer, wine, liquor, and Sunday license with outdoor dining. My client is a group restaurant operator. They have a number of restaurants in Virginia and Maryland. They currently have, Chairman, because I know you want to ask this question, but they currently have 2 Maryland restaurants. One called The Heights, which is a food hall in Chevy Chase, Maryland. And the other restaurant is The Grove in Potomac Village. What I'd like to do is, because they are seasoned restaurant operators, I'll try to make my examination fairly brief. Have you read and do you agree to obey the rules and regulations covering the sale of alcoholic beverages in Anne Arundel County? If you could just answer that question, each of you.
Yes. Yes.
And have you completed an alcohol awareness training program?
Yes. Yes.
And for the record, they will be participating in the TIPS program once they're ready to open up. And they also will be applying for their managers' applications with the liquor board. At this time, I'd like to turn it back over to the liquor board to ask questions about the this particular restaurant at this particular location.
Okay, well, let me get this out of the way. I'm going to ask the same question that I've asked everybody else, and I know you mentioned it, but I want to clarify it. Do either of you gentlemen have any interest in any other restaurant in the state of Maryland that has an alcohol license?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, very good. And again, that's just for clarity. Thank you for that. You've done a wonderful job of putting together your package, Mr. Mark.
Thank you, Chairman.
No, thank you. I really don't have any questions in reference to the operation, with the exception of, again, the outdoor service area. It's a pretty good size area, or appears to be. What are your plans for the service of alcohol out there? Do you have any plans as far as stationing a host or hostess, or cameras, or?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we will have cameras placed all around the inside and outside of the property. We also will have a trained bartender, as well as managers that will be inside and outside as well. And the area is also fenced in and has a roof over it, so it is very combined into the space. and is a lot, it's very easy to oversee and not get lost in a big, spread out patio, because it's very small and, not small, but it's not huge, I would say.
Yeah, no, but it's, yeah. Okay, no, you answered my question. Thank you very much. I don't have any further questions for you. Commissioner Duffy, do you have any questions?
No question.
Commissioner Snoops?
No questions.
Would you like to proceed any further, Mr.
Mr.
Mark?
Chairman, no, just respectfully request that you approve our application.
Okay, well, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and make a motion that we do accept this new license and grant it. Looking for a second?
I second the motion.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Very good. Thank you. Granted.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you
Chairman.
very much.
Thank you very much.
Please. Ladies and gentlemen, that ends tonight's hearing, the Anne Arundel County Liquor Board. Thank you. Everybody have a good evening. Travel safely. Chief?